Hi, my name is Phil Anderson and I'm running for United States Senate to represent Wisconsin. It was a very busy day with the campaign today. We had a breakfast with the candidate event at Johnny V's diner on South 84th Street in Milwaukee. That went very well. Met some new people today. Finished up getting pictures taken for an interview I had with Mark Sommerhauser of the Capital Times, and that ran today. So if you pay attention to the Capital Times, then you'll see that that ran. It's a very well written article laying out my positions and some information about the campaign. Also did an interview today with Steve Elbow from the Wisconsin State Journal, and that should run soon as well. Basically just introductions. The editors of both local big papers decided that it was about time that they talk about my campaign because it's relevant. Of course it's relevant. We're polling at 7 or 8%. We're pulling votes from both Feingold and Ron Johnson, so it's time they started talking about what I stand for and why I'm chipping away at the big two parties. So that was all well and good. One thing I'd like to talk about tonight, though, the main thing, is that in both articles there'll be a lot of detail about my positions on various issues. And I already know that the one that ran in the Capital Times, there's a bunch of comments underneath it, some of them ignorant, some of them uninformed. I guess that's the same thing, ignorant and uninformed. Some of them personal even. And what I hope that you all remember when you're looking over my positions on issues is that government, by its very definition, is coercion. And those of you out there who are libertarians already know that. If you're a Republican or a Democrat, maybe you haven't quite looked at it that way. But the things that you want to happen, when your people of your party are in positions of power and they do for you, are basically coercing the people that disagree in the minority on a vote to contribute their tax money and access to their government and its power to do the things that you want to do. And conversely, those of you who are in the minority, and I think a lot of you who read the Cap Times really feel coerced in terms of your tax dollars and the state authority by Scott Walker and his minions, and rightly so. You have to understand that that's coercion as well. I think you get that part of it, but the part that you don't always realize is that when your folks are in office, they're coercing somebody else. And the argument that libertarians make is that this sort of coercion is always wrong. It might be, in the short term, necessary in certain cases for the sake of moving gently towards a more libertarian society without too much chaos on the way, but it's coercion nonetheless. So when Governor Walker's in office and Republicans are doing well, they might feel great. You know, that's what the governor should be doing and the state legislature should be doing. And Democrats and progressives feel coerced. And previously, when it was Governor Doyle and he was having his way with the government, then Republicans might have felt coerced. But it's all coercion. So when you look at the issues that I weighed in on today that was published in the Cap Times, please keep that in mind. I'm against government coercion. And there are, I believe, and I think it can be demonstrated, that there are many, many different ways that things can get done. We can help the poor, we can house the homeless, we can heal the sick, we can build roads, we can do all these different things that right now we tend to rely on government to do on our own. And we do them every day. We just don't have as good a representation. We don't have as good a frontman as the Republicans and Democrats and the big organizations have. We just have us individuals who are dispersed, of course. We're individuals. We don't have a lobby representing the great mass of individuals who are out there doing wonderful work every single day, engaging in the free market, as free as it is anyway, helping each other, looking out for one another, teaching each other, helping each other in many different ways. That's really the genius of America in its original iteration and understanding. Not that the government's managing the economy or managing the social safety net or managing, whatever. The genius of America is that rights begin with the individual, and the individual delegates those rights with the consent to be governed. And we've gone, obviously, a long way from that, and I've talked about this recently. But when you look at my issues, what I'm looking at is not, I want government to do this and not to do what you want it to do. Is that I don't want government to do things at all because I know it's coercion in and of itself. It is basically an immoral institution that we live with in order to get things done because people are imperfect sometimes. But in the best situation, in the way that I believe about human beings, is that we all have that goodness within us, that we demonstrate it every day, and that we just need better PR. and libertarians in general are good PR for the strength, the power, the goodness, the love of individuals to each other. And we point that out, and then our desire is that government leaves you alone, and we leave each other alone to live our own lives as long as we don't infringe on other people's right to do the same. So that's my message tonight. In a nutshell, when you look at all my positions, realize that government is coercion no matter who's in control, and I'm trying to roll that back. And I believe in the power of individuals and private institutions to pick up the slack and do a better job with less coercion, less corruption, and be more efficient at providing those things that we all agree people should have. People should have health care, people should have education, people should have access to goods and services, etc. But the government has proven to be a lousy, corrupt, inefficient way to do it. That's all I have for tonight. Thanks, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.